Cleetus McFarland's debut at Charlotte Motor Speedway in the ARCA Menards Series became one of the most talked about races of the season, but not for the reasons you expected. So, why did this debut become the talk of the racing world, and what can we expect from this wild ride? Let's find out in today's breakdown. Garrett Mitchell had already made a name for himself far beyond the YouTube screen. With over 4 million subscribers and millions more views, Cleetus is known for hosting huge car events, building race cars, and even owning his own track. Yet, despite all that, his jump into professional stock car racing brought both excitement and controversy. Going into the Charlotte race, there was a lot of pressure on Cleetus. Although this wasn't his very first ARCA race, it was his first time competing on a 1.5-mile intermediate oval. Previously, he had taken on the massive superspeedways like Daytona and Talladega, which are more about drafting and high-speed packs. Charlotte is a different beast. It's a track where tire wear, car setup, and restarts become the key to success or disaster. For a YouTuber-turned-driver, this was a major leap. Despite being relatively new to ARCA racing, McFarland came prepared. In practice, he clocked the 11th fastest time out of a strong field. This was no small achievement. When qualifying wrapped up, McFarland had earned the 11th starting spot, a solid place for someone still learning the ropes. As the race began, Cleetus held his own. He moved into the top 10 early and found a rhythm. The car seemed to be working well, and the crew was in sync. For a while, it looked like McFarland was going to deliver an unexpectedly strong performance, but racing has a way of turning quickly. Around the halfway point of the race, a caution flag came out. Most teams headed to the pits for fresh tires, knowing how critical grip is on tracks like Charlotte. However, McFarland and his team decided to take a gamble. They stayed out on older tires, aiming to gain track position and maybe even steal a top finish if things went their way. This decision moved Cleetus all the way to the front row, but restarts are tricky, especially on worn tires and with limited experience at intermediate tracks. When the green flag waved, McFarland spun his tires. This tiny moment of lost traction caused a chain reaction. He lost momentum, and the cars behind had to react quickly. William Sawalich, trying to avoid contact, clipped the rear of McFarland's car. That sent Cleetus spinning into Isabella Robusto's car, which slammed hard into the wall. What followed was a massive pileup involving nearly 10 cars. The wreck was sudden and dramatic. Multiple drivers, including newcomers and veterans alike, had their races ruined in seconds. What could have been McFarland's breakout moment became a disaster. Social media lit up instantly. Fans debated whether McFarland had the skills for this level of racing. Some said it was a rookie mistake, while others argued that influencers like Cleetus shouldn't be racing professionally at all. Many critics pointed fingers at his team's decision to stay out on old tires. It was a gamble that didn't pay off. So, was McFarland too inexperienced for a race like this? Or was this proof that popularity shouldn't replace preparation? But here's where the story takes a turn. Instead of dodging blame or making excuses, Cleetus McFarland faced the music. In his post-race interviews, including one with Fox Sports 1, he took full responsibility.
Yeah, I want to start off by apologizing to the team that I took out. I think it was several cars, and I feel terrible about that. You know, every time I go racing, I don't want to get taken out, and I've felt it. It sucks. I've been sent home, and I made a complete rookie maneuver on the restart. I zigged and then I zagged, and then he got on. He was blowing my door off, and on the zag, I hit him and I put him in the wall. I feel terrible about it. I know those guys worked hard to be out here, and sucks to send them home. So.
He also shared how much harder Charlotte was compared to superspeedways like Daytona and Talladega. He was open about the learning curve and expressed gratitude to his team and supporters. What was even more impressive was how he finished the race. Despite the damage to his car and the emotional weight of the wreck, McFarland didn't quit. He kept racing. Lap after lap, he clawed his way forward. When the checkered flag waved, he crossed the line in 9th place. That may not seem like a big deal to some, but in ARCA racing, especially after being involved in a major wreck, that's a huge comeback. It was his best ARCA finish to date. At one point, he made a mistake that caused a wreck, something he admitted right away. Over the radio, he called it a rookie mistake, and inside the car, he was clearly upset, banging the steering wheel and hitting his helmet in frustration. That wreck gave people more reason to argue. Critics said it was proof that viral fame doesn't mean someone is ready for high-speed racing. They believe that allowing influencers into serious races can be dangerous, especially if they haven't had years of racing experience. In their eyes, putting a YouTuber in a professional car just because he's popular can hurt the sport and put other drivers at risk. But not everyone sees it that way. Supporters of McFarland say that while he made a mistake, he also did something impressive. He finished in the top 10. That's not easy, especially at a track like Charlotte, which is fast and challenging. They say his ability to recover, especially from an error, stay calm under pressure, and still finish well, shows that he has potential. They also point out that his fan base brings millions of new eyes to the ARCA Series, which has long been under the radar. In fact, McFarland's presence is already changing things. His videos reach millions of viewers, many of whom have never watched a professional race before. Now, because of him, they are watching ARCA. Sponsors notice this kind of attention. TV broadcasters take interest when someone brings a whole new audience, and it's hard to deny that he brings value, not just as a driver, but as a promoter of the sport. Still, it's not easy for McFarland. Every move he makes is watched. Every mistake becomes a headline, and when other drivers crash, it's just a racing incident. But when McFarland crashes, it's an online debate. He's not only racing against the other drivers on the track, he's racing against public opinion. That pressure can be heavy, especially when you're still learning. And McFarland is learning. He knows he has a lot to improve. He talks openly about wanting to get better, about going to more test sessions, learning racecraft, and understanding the racing culture. These are not things that happen overnight. Most professional drivers start racing go-karts when they're 5 or 6 years old. McFarland is doing this much later and in the public eye, which makes his challenge even harder. But he's not giving up. Even after the wreck, he didn't hide or walk away. He kept racing. He kept working with his team. He faced the critics and moved forward. That shows mental strength, and in racing, mental strength is just as important as speed. While the headlines focused on the crash, there was another major story at Charlotte that night. Austin Green, in only his second ARCA race, delivered a standout performance. Driving the number 82 car for the Pinnacle Racing Group, Green led 52 laps, the most of anyone, and took the checkered flag. He beat established names like Grant Enfinger and rising star LeVar Scott. Green's win reminded everyone that the ARCA Menards Series is full of talent and surprises. Green's performance added to the excitement of the night, showing how competitive this series truly is. Now, before you leave, just don't forget to give this video a like, smash that subscribe button, and also ring that notification bell while you're down there.